Stephen and Lucy's relationship in Tell Me Lies is toxic in the most unsettling way because it's deeply self-destructive for both of them, even when it looks like they're getting what they want. This isn't a story about two people who simply bring out the worst in each other during arguments. It's about a cycle they willingly stay trapped in, knowing on some level that it's hurting them, yet feeling unable or unwilling to stop. Their connection feeds on insecurity, control, and emotional dependency, and every time they come back together, they lose a little more of themselves in the process. At the core of their relationship is the illusion of connection. Stephen and Lucy believe they understand each other in a way no one else does, but that belief is built on manipulation and emotional games rather than genuine intimacy. Stephen thrives on control. He needs to feel wanted, needed, and prioritized above everyone else, and Lucy becomes the perfect outlet for that need. Lucy, on the other hand, is searching for validation and emotional safety, and she mistakes Stephen's attention for love. This imbalance is what makes the relationship so destructive. Neither of them is actually getting what they need, but both are convinced the other person is the answer. Stephen's behavior is a masterclass in subtle emotional manipulation. He rarely explodes or behaves in ways that are obviously abusive on the surface. Instead, he withholds affection, shifts blame, and rewrites events just enough to keep Lucy questioning her own instincts. When things go wrong, he positions himself as misunderstood or wronged, forcing Lucy into the role of caretaker and apologizer. Over time, this dynamic erodes her confidence. She becomes more focused on keeping Stephen than on protecting her own emotional well-being, which is a clear sign of how self-destructive the relationship has become for her. Lucy's role in the cycle is equally tragic. While Stephen's toxicity is easier to identify, Lucy's self-destruction lies in her inability to let go. She ignores red flags not because she doesn't see them, but because acknowledging them would mean accepting that the relationship she's invested so much of herself in is fundamentally broken. She bends her own boundaries, excuses behavior she would never tolerate from anyone else, and distances herself from friends who express concern. In doing so, she slowly isolates herself, making Stephen's presence feel even more essential, even as it continues to harm her. What makes their relationship especially dangerous is how it rewards bad behavior. Every time Stephen pushes Lucy away or treats her poorly, there's a reconciliation that feels intense and emotionally charged. Those moments create a false sense of closeness that reinforces the cycle. The pain becomes intertwined with affection, making it harder for Lucy to distinguish love from emotional turmoil. This pattern trains her to associate instability with passion, which is one of the most lasting and damaging effects of their relationship. Stephen, too, is self-destructing, even if he appears more in control. His need to dominate emotional situations prevents him from forming genuine connections. Instead of confronting his own insecurities and trauma, he projects them onto Lucy and others around him. He uses people as emotional shields, avoiding accountability by manipulating narratives to suit him. While this gives him short-term power, it isolates him in the long run. He sabotages any chance at real intimacy because true vulnerability would require him to give up control, something he's unwilling to do. Their relationship also thrives on secrecy, which further accelerates its destructive nature. Lies, omissions, and half-truths become normal. Instead of resolving conflicts through honesty, they bury issues and let resentment fester. This secrecy doesn't just damage their bond, it distorts their sense of reality. Both Stephen and Lucy begin to operate in a world shaped by denial and rationalization, where harmful behavior is reframed as love or misunderstanding. That emotional distortion is what keeps them stuck. One of the most unsettling aspects of Stephen and Lucy's dynamic is how self-aware it can be at times. There are moments when Lucy clearly senses that the relationship is draining her, and moments when Stephen seems to recognize the damage he's causing. But awareness alone isn't enough to break the cycle. Instead of acting on that realization, they retreat back into familiar patterns. That hesitation highlights how addiction-like their connection has become. The relationship itself is the drug, providing temporary highs that mask long-term harm. The self-destruction also extends beyond their emotional lives and into their personal growth. Lucy's sense of identity becomes increasingly tied to Stephen. Her decisions, moods, and self-worth start revolving around his approval. She stops prioritizing her own needs and aspirations, which stunts her emotional development. Stephen, meanwhile, remains trapped in a pattern of avoidance and control, refusing to evolve or confront his past. Both of them remain emotionally stagnant, stuck replaying the same conflicts in different forms. What makes their story resonate so deeply is how realistic it feels. Many people recognize elements of Stephen and Lucy's relationship not because it's dramatic, but because it's subtle and insidious. The show doesn't rely on grand betrayals or shocking twists to show the damage being done. Instead, it focuses on small moments, a dismissive comment, a withheld apology, a choice to stay silent instead of speaking up. These moments accumulate, slowly wearing both characters down. Ultimately, Stephen and Lucy's relationship is self-destructive because it feeds on unresolved pain rather than healing it. Neither of them enters the relationship whole, and instead of growing together, they amplify each other's worst tendencies. The longer they stay connected, the more damage they inflict on themselves and those around them. Their story serves as a powerful reminder that not all love stories are meant to last, and that sometimes the most harmful relationships are the ones that feel impossible to walk away from.